In this video I'm gonna deal with problem number 5 from the practice final. The problem goes like this. It says the English teacher wonders if the time she always spends providing extensive comments on her students' essays pays off. Did students improve on their midterm grade, which is English midterm, when they wrote the final, which is English final? So perhaps again the key question, the first question that we should ask is what are our two key values in there? And it looks like our first key value is the English midterm grades, right? And the second one is the English final grades. So the second question we usually ask is, are we interested in the difference between these two values, or are we interested in the way one is impacting the other? Again, it seems pretty clear here that we're interested in the difference between them, and what we're saying is that the English, we're asking actually, are the English final grades better than the English midterm grades? The other very important question that we need to ask is, are these the same individuals that have been measured twice, or are these two different groups of people? And here it seems pretty clear that it's the same people, actually, the same individuals, because it's the same students who write the final who wrote the midterm before. So it's a case of one population, two variables. It means that what I'm interested in the population is delta. And because here I'm saying that the English final is larger than the English midterms, that is, the average is going to be larger, what I'm saying is that delta will be negative, and that's because the English midterm grades should be in my first column there, because this is what is mentioned first. My English final grades should be in the second column, so because I'm expecting on average that those grades will be higher, I can expect the difference to be negative, so that's why I'm having a delta negative here, delta smaller than 0, and of course my null is going to be that actually there's no difference, right? The overall difference is equal to 0. So that's the conceptual analysis. Now we turn to the Excel calculation sheet. This is the data for the practice exam. My first order of business should be to make sure that everything is okay, but I did that already, so I'm going to skip here this step and assume that, as I know from before, there's no tidying up required. What I'm interested in this file is the English overall, the English final average. So I'm interested in all the grades for the finals, and I'm interested in all the grades from the midterm. So because the midterm was mentioned first, I'm going to deal with the midterm first. So I'm going to click on the first cell here. I don't want the header, but I do want the first cell. And I'm going to go all the way down, click on the very last one while holding Shift down. And this nicely selects all the data that I need. I'm going to copy this by doing Command C, and this is going to be my sample 1. I'm going to paste special this using only the values here, and I'm going to now do the same thing for the English final. So I click on the top cell, I go all the way down, I press Shift and then maintain it as I click in the last cell here. And I'm going to copy this now and paste it in my second column, again using the paste special, so to get only the values. And it looks pretty good actually, because what I was expecting was in the sample, the equivalent of delta in the sample is d bar. It's this value here, and it is negative as my hypothesis was saying, so that's good. It means that my hypothesis holds within the sample. Can it be generalized to the population? Can it be safely said to hold in the population as well? I'm looking after a p-value of 1 tail, so I'm going to try and see if I can have more decimal places here, reveal what my p-value is, and perhaps it's a case again where the p-value is incredibly small. So what I'll do is I'll switch this to scientific notation, and we'll see indeed that we get very many zeros. So this means that there's no doubt that I can assume that this holds in the population, because my p-value is way below the threshold of 0.05. And it's so small actually that I'm going to use this scientific notation to report this on the exam answer sheet. The last thing I need to do is be careful here, because now I have negative values. So I know that the overall difference between the final and the midterm is about, if I round up, is about 4%. So this is the amount of improvement between the final, or maybe between the midterm and the final. But this is for my sample. In general, it's going to be somewhere, so maybe I can round this up here, and it's going to be somewhere actually between, it says 3 and 4. So I'm pretty close actually. Maybe the rounding up is a little confusing again, because I have to make an inversion here. So it's about 4% in the sample, and the true figure in the population is somewhere between 3 and 4%. So that's again the final answer, all I need to know about question 5.